Whatever he would say, if you ask him, and he'll say, "You have misunderstood. I did not say that. I did not mean that." So once one of his students wrote down what this philosopher had said, and then in the next class, he said, "You said, Professor, like this." And then Wittgenstein, as usual, said, No, I did not say this." Then that student said, "But you said it. I wrote it down exactly as you said it. I'm reading it out to you, what you said, your own words." And Wittgenstein said, "But you don't mean what I meant by those words." So when a Brahmagyani, an enlightened person, says all is God, and when we say it, there's a huge difference. Revered Swami Suhitanandaji Maharaj, who's our vice president, I had the good fortune to join under him as a brahmachari in Deoghar Vidyapit, Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit, Deoghar, nearly 30 years ago. He told us this story about Swami Premeshanandaji, who was a disciple of Ma Sharada, and in his own time was regarded as a Brahmagyani, as an enlightened person. So sometimes he would do this. He was ill, lying on the bed, and he told Suhitanandaji, who was a brahmachari serving him, that I'm going to tell you a great secret. I'm going to tell you a great secret. Make sure nobody is listening. And Suhitanandaji Maharaj, he said, "We have heard this many times. He used to say this, so I know what he's going to say." I said, "Maharaj, tell. Is anybody listening? Just check outside. Nobody should be listening, close doors and windows." Then Suhitanandaji said, "Nobody is listening, Maharaj. You tell." Then Premeshanandaji Maharaj is saying, Premeshanandaji, Sri Ramakrishna is God, is an avatar of God. God has come as an avatar again as Sri Ramakrishna. And Suhitanandaji said, "Yes, Maharaj, I know." "You know?" "Yes, Maharaj, everybody knows and nobody cares." You see what it means to Swami Premeshanandaji and what it means to the rest of us. We say very glibly, we say, avatar. He has come, Sri Ramakrishna. Fine, avatar. But for a person for whom God has actually become real, is an ever-present reality. For that person, that Lord of the universe, in this form, in this day and age, has appeared so close to us in time and space. What an incredible thing to say. For that person, and Americans have a term for it, mind-blowing. So it's a mind-blowing thing. For us, we say, yeah, avatar, so what? Someone like Swami Premeshanandaji, at the very end of his life, he had told Swami Suhitanandaji told us that, he said that if you want to know anything, you can ask me. Then Swami Suhitanandaji, I will not reveal the whole thing here because one part of it cannot be revealed. One part of it was, he asked Swami Premeshanandaji that when you see the pictures of Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharada, Swami Vivekananda, are they pictures to you or do you see them as living? And Premeshanandaji immediately said, living. They're living. So that difference. Can we bridge that gap between talk and living presence of God so that we can honestly say, God is here now, directly, visible, experienceable to us. I'll start at the top of the Everest. My favorite subject, Advaita Vedanta. We'll start from there. And we'll end there also. From the Advaitic perspective, we know the Upanishads, they grandly proclaim to us, Tattvam Asi, that there is this infinite existence, consciousness, bliss, Tat Sat, one being from which this entire universe has emerged, in which this entire universe exists, into which this entire universe disappears. That being alone in itself is the reality. The universe of names and forms is an appearance. That being, that infinite being is called Sat. Sat just means existence. Existence itself, being itself. And in fact, the question of existence, I just make a comment about it. One of the greatest German philosophers, greatest philosophers of the 20th century, Heidegger, in his Introduction to Metaphysics, he says, one topic, the most important and difficult topic, has been ignored by Western philosophy. What is that? The question of being itself, existence itself. What is that question? It's not that why does this exist or why does that exist? How is the world created? Why does the world exist? Why does anything exist at all? What is existence itself? Seems like a simple question, but the most profound of questions. He says, this question is the most profound. This question is the greatest, most profound question. Why? Heidegger says, the question of existence itself is the widest question, the deepest question, and the most fundamental question. Why is it the widest question? Because everything is included under this question. If you ask a question about living beings, then only living things are included. If you ask a question about fundamental particles, only material particles are included, atoms, protons, neutrons, quarks. If you ask a question about mathematics, only numbers are included. But if you ask a question about existence, what is not included? Everything is included. Anything that exists is included. If somebody is very clever here, might say that, well, things which do not exist are not included. Non-existence is not included. But then non-existent things which do not exist, they don't exist, so they need not be included at all. So everything that exists is included in this question, what is existence? It's the widest question. The question of existence, Heidegger says, is the deepest question. Why the deepest question? See, there are in the hierarchy of knowledge, there are more and more fundamental questions. So if you ask a question about, say, the body, human body, physiology will answer that question. But deeper than physiology is biology, physiology is included in biology. Deeper than biology is chemistry. All chemical, biology is based on matter. Deeper than chemistry is physics. Deeper in the sense of a more fundamental science. Then Heidegger says the most fundamental, the deepest of all questions is the question of existence. And then he says that it is also the most fundamental of questions. Why? Because it is a question which asks about itself. When you ask about existence, you're asking about everything in the universe. You're also asking about the question itself. The question exists. So in that sense, the widest, deepest, and most fundamental question. And the answer from the Upanishads was that Sat, being, existence itself is the ultimate reality. I mean, it just occurred to me a few months ago. It's a very simple observation. We say in Upanishads, the ultimate reality is Sat, Chit, Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. Those who have studied philosophy, you will immediately recognize the three branches of philosophy. Broadly speaking, the three branches of philosophy. Ontology, what used to be called metaphysics. Ontology, the study of reality. What is real? Ontology. The second branch of philosophy is, how do we know anything? Epistemology. Epistemology. And third question of philosophy is, it's a broad area of what is the goal of life, what is good and what is bad, what is beautiful. A number of branches were there earlier, aesthetics, ethics. Now they have all been clubbed under a new name, axiology. The question of value, purpose, beauty, goodness. Three branches. All of philosophy is covered in three branches. Ontology, what is real? Epistemology, how do we know anything? And the third one is, what is the point of it all? The meaning, purpose, value of it all? Axiology. And now immediately you can see, if you think of Brahman, Sat, Chit, Ananda. What is reality? Sat. How is any knowledge, experience, anything, any of this experience of life, how is it possible? Chit. And what is the point of it all, value of it all? Ananda. Sat, Chit, Ananda. That is the grand conception of the ultimate reality in the Upanishads. Thousands of years ago. It just beggars the imagination to think about it. Professor Evan Thompson, in his book, Waking, Dreaming, Being, he's a professor of philosophy in the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. In that book, at the beginning of that book, he says, it's a book on consciousness studies. At the beginning of the book, he says, consciousness studies is not a new field. We think it's latest 21st century field, consciousness studies. It's not a new field. It started in the Upanishads of India, thousands of years ago. And then he quotes another philosopher in that book saying that the Upanishads represent such a revolution in human thought, such a paradigm shift in human thought, that Human history, the history of civilization, should not be dated as AD and BC, which is very ethnocentric. It should not be dated as AD and BC. It should be dated as before Upanishad and after Upanishad. Yeah. We as Indians and as Hindus, we don't dare to make such bold proclamations. But see, they are boldly saying this. This is so central. So, Sat, pure being, pure existence, pure consciousness, Chit, pure Ananda, bliss. Pure bliss is Ananda. We find Shvetaketu's father telling him about this Sat. Sadeva Somya Idamagrasid. Before this entire universe appeared, there was one existence. Now you can imagine the young boy who was already a little arrogant, full of his knowledge which he has acquired. So he might have shrugged. So, then his father tells him, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that existence. Tat Sat Tvam Asi, that infinite being, Satchidananda, you are that infinite being. So this is the grand equation, the grand identity in the Upanishads. Where do you find God? In that ultimate identity. This was not unknown in other religions. In the mystical traditions of Christianity, in Islam, in Jewish, the Kabbalah, this was understood or known to a handful of mystics. And they put it forward in beautiful mystical language. For example, well known, Meister Eckhart, not Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, no, not that one. Meister Eckhart, 500, 600 years ago in Germany, Christian theologian and mystic. How beautifully expresses it. The ground of my soul and the ground of God are one and the same ground. Literally the meaning is same as Tattvamasi. In fact, if you look closely, he has also done, those who have done Vedanta, the Bhagatyaga Lakshana has also been done there in that one sentence. The ground of my soul and the ground of God are one and the same ground. Sufi mystic says that when I searched for Allah, I found myself. When I searched for myself, I found Allah. Again, grand identity. But the thing is, though the great mystics, enlightened persons in every religion realized it, to make it mainstream, to make it rational, logical, and to develop a step-by-step approach to appreciating, understanding, and realizing this reality, that you find only in Advaita Vedanta, nowhere else. We often quote Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda says that just as the Bible is for the Christians, the Torah is for the Jews, the Zend-Avesta for the Zoroastrians, Tripitaka for the Buddhists, Quran for the Muslims, for us Hindus, the Vedas are the scriptures for the Hindus. We quote that. But then the next part of it, people miss it. He says, the Bible, Quran, and the Torah and are like our Puranas. And then he says, like the Upanishads, there is no other literature in the world. Yeah. This is incredible depth and fearless probing into the ultimate reality. What does it mean, Tattvamasi? It means, this grand identity means, Tat Tvamasi, that you are, and Tvam Tatasi, you are that. When you say you are that Brahman, it means that I am not the body, not the mind, I am that existence, consciousness, bliss. Not as this person, not as this person, not as this human being, I can say I am God. No. In this land of Karnataka, this is the Triveni of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. Sringeri is there. Vishishta Advaita, Sri Ramanuja Acharya spent a great deal of his time here. And of course, Udupi is there, Sri Madhvacharya. The great streams of Vedanta flowed through this land and then spread out across the world. The answer to this question, where is God, is to be found in this land. So that has been a great point of debate here, that when you say, I am God, immediately, when Advaitin says this, immediately it is attacked by Vishishta Advaita and Dvaita. This is sacrilegious. How can you, a mere a mortal, a jiva, how can you be Shiva? You are powerless, Alpa Shaktiman, Sarva Shaktiman. You have little knowledge, alpagya, sarvagya. You are limited, parichinna. You are born and you die, again born and again you die. Is immortal, not subject to birth and death. So this all-pervading God, all-knowing, all-powerful, how can you claim to be God? But Advaitin is not saying that. When we are saying Aham Brahmasmi, I don't mean Aham Sarvapriyananda, not this personality. You have to deconstruct this personality, investigate into your experience of yourself, and then you realize. So when Shankaracharya sings Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham, that's not the first line of Nirvana Shatakam. The first line is Manobuddhyahankara Chittani Naham. What we identify ourselves with all the time, these thoughts, these ideas, these memories, this ego, I. First, you have to deny that. Go through that process of neti neti. And then you realize Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham. Even the ego has to be denied. If you actually translate Manobuddhyahankara Chittani Naham, Ahankara na aham. If you translate into English, it will be I am not I. How is that possible? I am not I. See, this I also, just as the mind, the thoughts, and the intellect and the memory, they are all appearing in me, the consciousness. Even the sense of ego is also appearing in me, the consciousness. Ego is also an object of consciousness. That pure consciousness, that unlimited consciousness, I am. Then only Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I am the opposite of that. One side of it is Aham Brahmasmi. I am not body, mind, the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. I am none of these. Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham. And the other way round, Tattvamasi means that Brahman is it. You are Brahman, that much we understand. But we often don't think about the other meaning, which is even more scary. It says, Brahman is you. That means, other than you, there is no Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, no Devi, no Ganapati. All of them are in reality you. When the Advaitin is asked, are you denying the existence of God? The Advaitin will always ask you, is that God a separate object to you? In that case, no. There is no such God. Nothing like that exists. Or is it the reality of yourself? If you say, if it's the reality about myself, then that God, Advaita Vedanta, exists, accepts entirely. With the upadhis of body, mind, you and I, we are these sentient beings. With the upadhi of Maya, that same consciousness is Ishvara, Saguna Brahman, perfectly accepted in Advaita Vedanta. How can Advaita Vedanta not accept Ishvara? The texts upon which Advaita Vedanta is based, the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras, as much as they talk about Nirguna Brahman, they talk about Saguna Brahman also. So it is entirely accepted in the Advaitic idea of God. And we know how to find this God. How to find this God? Where is this God? From an Advaitic perspective, God is not distant from you, not in some heaven. God is there, but here also. From an Advaitic perspective, God is not separated from us by time, that after death I will find God. So I always say that driving along in the United States, sometimes you find big billboards saying, after death you will see God. And below that it is written, call 1800 and so on. So, then there's some church, they will make you your member, $1 we have to give. So, after death, but it's interesting, the language, after death. After death, after is a time word, before and after. So, after death you will see God, before death, only post-mortem. After death, before death, even now. So, God is where? Here. God is when? Now. God is what? You. Not an other, not separated in vastu, not separated in desha, not separated in kala. That is the Advaitic conclusion. Where is God? Not separated at all. It is you here now. You everywhere, at all times. Then what does Advaita do for us? If it is I, me, now, but why don't I experience it? Then Advaita says the problem is that we are not separated from God by space, desha. We are not separated from God by kala, time. God is not a separate object from us also. God is separate from us by only ignorance. We don't see it, we don't know it, we don't realize it. And the way is not from one place to another, not from one time to another, not from myself to something else, but from ignorance to knowledge, from ajnana to jnana. God is separated from us only by our, I say ignorance, but it's a fancy English word. In Uttarakhand, one sadhu said, what is it that separates you from God? And in Hindi, they said, Bevkufi matra, stupidity only. Only foolishness separates you from God. Kya fark hai aapka? Fasla kya hai? What is the difference? The gap is foolishness. Bevkufi matra hai. And that has to be removed. How is it removed? We know. I will not go into that. You will be thinking, now he will start Drigdrishya Vivek and all. No. So there are many procedures in Advaita Vedanta. These procedures are called prakriyas. But all of them, they are just pointing out something that's already existing. When we understand what they are talking about, we are like, oh, this is what it is. It was always there. I just didn't see it. We see that this body is an object to my awareness. We see that thoughts also I'm aware of. Then what is it that is aware? I remember, among the European philosophers, very well known, one of the greatest names is Descartes. We have studied in school also, not the philosophical part of it. Mathematics, we all remember Cartesian coordinates. So the same Descartes, the mathematician, is a philosopher. And there is a book called Meditations, Descartes' Meditations. His famous Cogito ergo sum. He wanted to find out what is it that we can be certain of. Everything in this world can be doubted. What we are seeing now, it can be a dream. It can be, Matrix movie. You can see you're sitting in the middle of some kind of simulation, virtual reality. You can doubt it. Is it actually true or not? Am I actually sitting there and listening to a talk, or am I sleeping in my home dreaming that I have gone to the ashram and listening to a talk? Who knows? But he said, what is it that is certain, which cannot be doubted? From there I will build up all knowledge. So this is the great skepticism of Descartes, the skeptical project. And those who have studied philosophy, you know that he investigated a very Vedantic kind of, if you read the original, original means translated from French, you see it's almost a Vedantic kind of inquiry. I doubt this, so this cannot be certain. I can doubt this cannot be certain. But one thing I cannot doubt, I am thinking, I am doubting, that I cannot doubt. I think, therefore I exist. Cogito ergo sum. If you read this, anybody who has read Vedanta will immediately recognize more than 1200 years, 1000 years before Descartes, Shankaracharya writes, Yaeva tasya nirakarta tasyaiva atmasa. The one who doubts the Atman, that is the Atman of the very doubter. You cannot doubt your own existence. The very doubt proves that I exist. If I say I doubt whether I exist, it's like saying actually, I doubt whether I can speak. You are speaking. But why am I saying all this? What Descartes does not do is, the next part of it, in the Meditations if you see, he does not investigate what is it that he has found. So I exist. I cannot doubt my own existence. The next he goes on to show how knowledge can be built up on the certain foundations, the foundations of the certainty of my own existence. But what am I? That I certainly exist, that certain existence, he does not investigate it any further. He does not investigate it any further. In fact, one very poignant line in the Meditations of Descartes is, little later he says, how strange it is that of which I am most certain, I do not know anything. And that which I know a lot, I am not at all certain about it. I know that I exist, but what am I? I don't know. Surely I exist, but what is it that who exists? I don't know that. And I know so many things in the world, but I can never be certain about it. But he does not investigate that. What Descartes did not investigate, he went on further, he went back into the world again. Vidyaranya Swami, 300 years before Descartes, right here in Karnataka, in the Vijayanagar kingdom. At the beginning of his masterpiece, the Panchadashi, at the very first chapter, in the very beginning, after the Mangalacharan shlokas, the first shloka which he writes, he starts investigating. He begins where Descartes was going to leave off there. He begins to go inwards. First shloka, beautiful. Shabda sparshadayo vedya vaichitrya jagare prithak tato vibhakta tat samvid aikya rupyat nabhidyate. I have so many experiences in this world. Shabda, sparsha, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, remembering, desiring, hating, waking, dreaming, sleeping. All of these are coming and going. Apart from them, illumining all of them, is one samvit. All these experiences are different from each other. Seeing the glass is different from seeing the mic. Seeing is different from hearing. Hearing is different from tasting. Tasting is different from thinking. Thinking is different from feeling. All these are different from each other, but behind all of them, illumining all of them, making the experience of those things possible, is one constant samvit, consciousness, which does not differ from moment to moment. It does not change from moment to moment. The samvit consciousness which illumines, like the light which falls on this stage and illumines this glass and illumines this paperweight and the table and the person. It's the same light. Person, glass, and all of these are different from each other, but the light is constant. It is the same light. Similarly, consciousness is one and constant. And he starts there. A remarkable performance in 8 shlokas, starting from the 3rd shloka onwards till the 10th shloka, I think. He shows just by experience. What experience? The kind of experience which we are all having right now. He shows just by experience. And just by reason, he points out, see, you see that this samvit, you are this consciousness, yes, it does not come and go, it is permanent in that sense, it is sat. And then he shows how that samvit is ananda also. I will not go into it. Wonderful, just by subtle reasoning on our already available experience. And then he shows you are Satchidananda. You, this samvit, what you have discovered about yourself. He says, now open the Upanishad. This is called Brahman. And what an amazing demonstration. In 8 verses, he has shown the entire Upanishadic teaching without referring to the Upanishad. He said, before opening the Upanishad, take a look at your own experience. I will show you that you are Brahman. Right now, right here, forever. Then open the Upanishad, you will see Upanishad is telling you what you are already experiencing. An amazing demonstration. So, this is the grand conclusion of Advaita Vedanta. Whether you do it through Drigdrishya Viveka, Panchakosha Viveka, Avasthatraya Vichara, there are so many ways in the Upanishad. They are all prakriyas. There are these procedures developed to show us what we are. In that, investigating into ourselves. In Drigdrishya Viveka, Vidyaranya Swami says, within ourselves, our thought and consciousness, this is mixed up because of avidya, the difference between I, the consciousness, and my thoughts is not distinct to me. I don't see the difference between I, myself, the consciousness, and my mind. And outside in the world, that one existence and the names and forms and activities, nama, rupa, vyavahara, which is going on, I don't see the difference between them because of avidya. This distinction we have to make. Apart from names and forms, not body, not mind, not the panchakoshas, I am the witness consciousness. Not names and forms, the underlying undivided existence. Good. There is God. I have seen expectant faces all around. Sounds a little complicated, isn't it? Little difficult. It is difficult. Here is the problem. It is difficult. It is direct. Advaita Vedanta claims it's direct. It's now. You are experiencing it. And you say, yes, I sort of get what you are saying, but it's a little, we find it difficult to be centered in such a thing. Intellectually, somehow we can grasp. If we make a little bit of an effort, we can grasp what is being said. But it somehow doesn't fill the heart. It fills the heart when you are advanced, well along the path. But it's not a problem with Advaita Vedanta. It's a more problem with the Adhikari. A problem with us, the seeker. See, our thing is, we want something to grasp. We want to see, hear, smell, taste, touch. We want to think about it, praise God, love God, feel the presence of God. What Advaita will say? You want to see God? Yes. You're seeing God? Yes. Well, if whatever you are seeing, it is not Brahman. Have you thought about it? Brahman, Atman? Yes, yes. Then if you have thought about it, if you can think about it, it is not Brahman. Are you speaking about it? Yes. Then whatever you're speaking about, whatever it may be, it's not Brahman. If you do that, it's very difficult. It is not an object of knowledge. It is not an object of our awareness. Rather, it's the awareness itself. See, that's simple. It's awareness itself. But whenever we say it is awareness itself, we are objectifying. So the only reason why we are unable to realize it, if it is already there and I am that all the time, here, now, I am that consciousness, then why is it so difficult to realize? Because of this objectifying tendency of our minds. That's why it's so difficult. Advaita wants us to turn. I will not repeat the story, the 10th man story, if you have heard. In Panchadashi, Vidyaranya Swami uses it to good effect in one chapter. So what happened at the end? He was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, not counting himself. 10th man he could not find. And then somebody came and turned it around. You are the 10th. Now for 10th man, it's easy. 9 people are there, now I am the 10th. Because this is also actually an object. I can objectify. What Advaita wants us to do is observe the Panchakosha. Attention on the body, attention on the prana, attention on the mind, subtler and subtler, inward and inward, anyuantaratma, more inward, more subtle, until you come to the causal, the Anandamaya. And then from there you have to turn further inwards, which cannot be pointed out, which cannot be said also. That to which the Panchakosha is an object. How difficult. Once the Advaitin will say, not difficult, see, it's absolutely obvious. But if it's not obvious to me, then it's very difficult to me. Taddure tadvantike, Upanishad says. That Brahman, Atman identity is closer than the closest. Oh, very good. I don't get it. Then it is further than the furthest for you. Shankaracharya explains, closer and further, not in distance. It's because of knowing and not knowing. Vidya, Vidya. In Shloka, in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says the entire thing, Advaita will become clear, everything becomes upapannam, clear, reasonable, if you see the difference between knowledge and ignorance. Sri Ramanujacharya comes next. Out of compassion, he makes it easier for us. You want to see, you want to conceive of, you want to love, pray, worship, yes. But I don't want to dilute. Same Advaitic Brahman must be there, not substandard. You cannot dilute it. Then the same Advaitic Brahman, Sri Ramanuja says, is Ishvara, Bhagavan, Vishnu, Narayana. The transcendent God in his abode, Vaikuntha, it exists. Here, only thing is, this you have to take on faith. Until you have Alaukika Pratyaksha and all that, until that we have to take on faith. Veda is a pramana for you. So the Veda tells you, and then it's knowledge for you that Narayana, Srimad Narayana exists in Vaikuntha, in the transcendent form. I remember, I can never forget this, nearly 18 years ago in Gangotri, I lived in one hut. In the next hut, there was a sadhu. Actually, technically, he was a brahmachari, Brahma Chaitanya. He looked, those who have seen the cinema of Lord of the Rings, there was a magician, the white long beard, Gandalf. He looked like that, white dress, long white beard and all. And whole day and night he just spent in reading and translating Yoga Vasishta. Very interesting, a completely non-dualist Advaitin, sitting there and doing that. And watching the glaciers and mountains and all. And all year long he would stay. He had stayed there for decades. We went and came back. Before Navaratri we would come back. But he would stay all year long. And somebody asked him that now so many people are there, Tirtha Yatris, and children would really like him. And so he would a lot of fun. But when nobody is there, for 6 months you don't see a human face, then what do you do? Sometimes some other sadhu who lives in a cave, you see, otherwise no. His answer was, अब मैं मजे में हूँ, तब और भी मजे में रहता हूँ. I am very happy now, and then I will be even happier. See, this is the attitude of a non-dualist. Yesterday in IIC somebody asked, if I am beyond thought, I understand, if no thought is there, body is there is peace, no problem. Is that Advaita Vedanta? It's a good question. No, that is not Advaita Vedanta. Then deep sleep is as good. Coma is good enough. No world, no body, no mind. Obviously, then there's no problem also. Again, everything will come back. From a causal state, the effect will always come. If cause is there, effect will come. But Advaita, again, I will translate. One sadhu said, Advait pratiti ko mitane ke liye nahi hai. Advait aapko vyavahar mein nirbad banata hai. Advaita is not for wiping out the experience of the world. Advaita makes you limitless, fearless in vyavahara, absolutely happy and delighted. You can say in samadhi, main maje mein rehta hu. I am in great fun, samadhi. And when I open my eyes and see the world, aur bhi maje mein rehta hu. I mean, it's greater fun. Happiness, misery, both are great fun for me. Advaita makes you do that. Anyway, why I am introducing this is, so this great, completely committed non-dualist monk, whole day and night he is only translating Yoga Vasishta and studying it. And you say, oh, has he translated by now? He has passed away. So can I buy the book? No. Very interesting. He would translate, and then after finishing, this bundle of notebooks, he would take, throw in the Ganga. Don't tell Ganga Action Plan people in the pollution. So he will throw in the Ganga and start all over again. That is not for publication, it is for my own nididhyasana. But again, why am I telling this story? After this whole day, it would go like this. At night, night means evening, immediately there was no electricity at that time, so it becomes dark. You go and close the doors and you stay because it's the howling wind outside, very cold. I would hear nearby kutia, faint voice. This monk, Srimad Narayana Narayana, Srimad Narayana Narayana, hour after hour after hour until I would drift off to sleep. I can still hear that voice if I close my eyes. See this combination. So, Sri Ramanujacharya, most kind. It's all right, Narayana Vishnu is there in Vaikuntha, but that is also a little abstract. I cannot conceive of it. What is it like? Then the Lord is very compassionate. Sri Ramanujacharya says the Lord is very compassionate. He comes in your heart, not just in Vaikuntha, as Antaryami. Those who have studied Vishishtadvaita, I'm going to talk about the 5 manifestations of the Lord. So, where is God? In Vaikuntha, correct? But also in the hearts, in our own consciousness. Shankara says, Buddhi Guhayam. In our own consciousness, in our hearts. Same Srimad Narayana exists. That is why Ishta Devata, Guru gives a mantra, visualize the lotus here and visualize your Ishta Devata, whichever form. We Hindus are very liberal about it. Whichever form you take, meditate here and visualize the Lord here. Same Lord, same Narayana and Vaikuntha, same Tattvamasi, Satchidananda here. In this form, you can actually visualize it. And you can feel it. Like Swami Premeshanji seeing the picture of Sri Ramakrishna says, I see living, not picture. You can have a living vision, the presence of God. God is in the heart. Sri Ramakrishna told Swami Akhandanandaji. Swami Akhandanandaji told this monk, Swami Nirmuktanandaji, who lived to be more than 100. I had asked him this question, Maharaj, we are studying Advaita Vedanta, Tattvamasi, Satchidananda, and Guru has given us Ishta Devata mantra. What is the connection between the two? Immediately he said, they are not two, they are one. Have you not heard? Sri Ramakrishna said in Bengali, Jejar Ishto Shetar Atma. Whoever is your Ishta Devata, that is the Atman of Vedanta. And Sri Ramakrishna told Akhandanandaji, and this Swami had served Swami Akhandananda, and he had heard it from Akhandanji also. I heard it from him, I am telling you now. That the Ishta Devata and mantra which Guru has given is the same as the Brahman, the Satchidananda, the pure consciousness, the Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, which you realize in Advaita, it is the same. They are not two different things. That gold appearing as in this particular ornament or that particular ornament is exactly the same gold. Doesn't matter what is the form of the ornament. So when meditating on your Ishta Devata, repeating the Ishta mantra, you are literally, by the magic of the power of Maya, by the blessings of Maya, with the Nama Rupa, you are contacting the same, you are in touch with your same inner reality. I read a very inspiring thing. Swami Tapasyanandaji, who was in Ramakrishna Mat in Mylapore in Chennai, Vice President of our order, he says, when you have got the mantra from your Guru, know that you have got God. You have got God. You have already got God. You don't know it. By sadhana, you have to discover it. And we say, yes, that is true, but meditation, japa, and also invisible. I want to see. Can I not see? And Ishvara is even more. Anugraha, grace, comes as avatar. Ramanuja says. Third, Vaikuntha Narayana in our hearts as Antaryami Ishtadevata, and then as Avatara. In history, as a historical figure, enters into human history as incarnation, Avatara, Rama, Krishna, Sri Ramakrishna. They come in a form with a name and a form, a holy form, a holy name, and a holy Leela, which is recorded in history, not theology, not something that you have to take on faith or read in a book. It's actual human history, and yet it's the same divine present here, and you can catch hold of the avatar. Extremely powerful way of enlightenment. Then one variation of that, Sri Ramanujacharya mentions, avatara, yes, but also there was a special manifestation of avatara to the gopis in Vrindavan. On one occasion, that avatara appeared as a vyuha, a group. Sri Krishna for each gopi separately appeared. So that is even greater grace. So when you have the vision, we are lucky enough one day to behold actually with open eyes the form of the avatara, your Ishta Devata, that experience, that is something, it's very special and rare. Maybe we should leave it out of the discussion. But I am mentioning it particularly because I have not seen, I am honest. But I have seen somebody who was seeing, and that is unforgettable. A sadhu in Bhava, in Vrindavan, in Govindaji's temple. It is unforgettable, whole life. If you see the face of one who is seeing, every hair on your body will stand on the end. You know, some extraordinary presence is there. Unfortunately, I cannot see, but somebody else is seeing. Those who have seen Sri Ramakrishna every day, having the vision of the Divine Mother, they cannot see the Divine Mother, but for Sri Ramakrishna, Divine Mother is here, Ma Kali is here, he is talking with her, conversing with her, but everybody around, they cannot see, but they felt it. Sometimes they would go into ecstasy also. So God is here in a special manifestation. And then the last one, even more, step down, more for us. Yes, but Avatar came and went. Photograph only, Maharaj, in front of us. We are not lucky enough to see. We should not think in that way, because there are many who were lucky enough to see Sri Ramakrishna and Dakshineshwar, and that they thought that mad Brahmin priest. No avatar for them. So it's not that you just see that you will see avatar. Of course, a great blessing, but it also requires the grace of the avatar. Only those who are blessed, they can recognize the avatar when the avatar is actually physically present in their proximity. But there is one more thing, much more accessible. Sri Ramanujacharya calls it Archyavatara. He says, we have a special method of closeness to God, the presence of God. Where is God? In the image which is worshipped properly, installed properly, and worshipped regularly in temples. If you go to the temple, the Archyavatara, the image or the picture or the symbol in which God is worshipped, that is God, not symbol of God. one of the Shankaracharyas, I will not name, present day, he said, what is the secret of worship, of image worship in Hinduism? He said, the preliminary answer is that God is immanent. God is all-pervasive in everything, and if you can worship God in a particular image, it helps you to realize God. It's a help, it's a support, it's a great help in your sadhana, because we have this objectifying tendency, so you use this technology of image worship. But he says that is only a superficial understanding. The reason, the real deep reason why we Hindus worship God in an image, in a picture, in a symbol, actually concretely, is to remove the misconception that it is not God. We say preliminary that, oh, we Hindus, we don't worship a wood or image, like metal or wood or clay or wood, stone image. We are worshipping God. This is a symbol for God. He says that's only a preliminary answer. The real answer is, it is not stone, it is Brahman. It is not wood, it is Brahman. It is not metal, it is Brahman. That is the meaning of the immanence of the divine. Swami Vivekananda said, we Hindus worship a transcendent, immanent God. A God who is beyond creation, time, space, and causation, Satchidananda Brahman, but a God who is in and through creation. See, Turiya, waking, dreaming, deep sleep, Turiya. If you say, Turiya is something else, this is waking, this is dreaming, this is deep sleep, and Upanishad told me there is one very nice thing called Turiya. If it's something separate, other than waking, dreaming, deep sleep, we will never get it. Then this waking, dreaming, deep sleep are separate from Turiya, they limit Turiya also. The Turiya will become a limited reality. What Upanishad wants to say is that Turiya is waking, is dreaming, is deep sleep. That gold is the bracelet, is the necklace, is the ring. Gold is not a fourth kind of ornament apart from bracelet, necklace, ring. It is the same consciousness which appears as the waker and the waker's world right now. It's the same consciousness which appears as you, the dreamer, and your dream world. It's the same consciousness which appears as the darkness of deep sleep. It is consciousness in itself, transcendent, beyond the three states, but also in and through the three states. There is nothing in the three states, waking, dreaming, deep sleep, stula, sukshma, karana. The gross, the subtle, and the causal. There is nothing there which is actually not Brahman. This is the idea of the immanence of the divine. The deeper meaning of image worship, Archyavatara, is that literally, so you are now saying literally stone and wood are God. No. What I'm saying, it is not stone, it is not wood, it is God. When we chant Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, I don't feel hungry now. So we always associate with food. In every action, every factor of action is actually Brahman. Look at the commentary of Shankaracharya. He says, Arpana means the ladle by which offerings are made into the havan. Agni is the fire, the priest, the fire, the ritual. All of that is Brahman. What is the commentary by Shankaracharya? Very interesting. Natadarpanam, tad Brahma. Natadagni, tad Brahma. Shankaracharya's commentary is, actually it is not a wooden spoon. Actually it is not Agni. Actually it is not ghee. Actually it is Brahman. That is the meaning of Brahmarpanam, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhi. So, what you think as the image is not an image. It's not wood. In the vision of reality, it is nothing other than Brahman appearing as in that form. When you watch a movie on a screen, the hero and the villain and the car and the tree and the sky and the road and the city, they're all nothing but that screen. Light and the same light appears as in the form of those pictures. Ramanujacharya says, Archyavatara. That beautiful story is there in Srirangam. So the great Utsava of Narayana is going on. Utsava Murtis are going on. Thousands of people. Remember, this is 1,000 years ago. Thousands of people standing with offerings. And by that time, Sri Ramanujacharya also was well recognized as a great Acharya and master, standing with his disciples. And then they noticed one young man standing there, powerfully built, with an umbrella. So in those days, they had umbrellas. I think the bamboo kind of cane kind of umbrella, very elegant type. He is holding it over the head of a young girl and looking at her continuously. And people were saying, what kind of behavior this is? In the temple, in this holy occasion, why is he behaving in this uncultured manner? And Ramanujacharya told his disciples, go and call that young man. And he thought, now what will happen? The Acharya himself has seen this fellow, useless fellow. Then they went and said, hey you, come. Ramanujacharya, Sri Ramanuja is calling you. He immediately put the umbrella down and he walked. He bowed down to Sri Ramanuja and he asked, who are you? Who is that girl? And why are you looking at her? And he said, I am Dhanurdasa. He was a wrestler. And that girl is Hemamba. And I'm looking at her because she has the most beautiful pair of eyes in the world, in the universe. So others went, oh, what kind of talk this is? Ramanuja said, if I show you an even more beautiful pair of eyes, would you want to see? He said, yes, I want to see. Then okay, today in the evening, when the Arati of Narayana Vishnu is going on in the Srirangam temple, you come. Will they let me in? He said, you tell I have called you, they will let you in. Exactly like Sri Ramakrishna, 1,000 years later, said to disciples, Master Mahashaya, I am going to have an utsav there, you come. There will be a lot of, kirtan and singing and all. Will they let me in? A big man's house. You tell that I have called you, they will let you in. This message to all of us. Blessing to us. I'll complete the story and add one more little story. So then this Dhanurdasa went, and the evening Arati is there, and the image, the reclining image in Srirangam, so big image. I mean, the Arati is going on, it's dark there, and the light, it seems in those days, would fall part by part on the body of the image. As the light fell on the face of Vishnu, the reclining Vishnu, Ramanuja touched Dhanurdasa and said, see, the most beautiful pair of eyes in the universe. And Dhanurdasa looked and he saw the living face of God. And he went, the description is there. He went into Samadhi. Ramanuja touching him went into Samadhi. And the priests all around, they looked in stunned surprise. Of course, we know the story. Later on, Dhanurdasa, he married Hemamba. They became some of the closest devotees of Sri Ramanujacharya. But see the beauty. In Vaishnava Vedanta, they say that when the light of the Arati lamp falls on the face of the image, the Archa, look at that face with devotion, with folded hands. The sins, the bad karma of all your past lifetimes will be wiped away at that moment. So this is visible presence of the Lord. And one of the most devoted monks I have seen, great Advaitin, one of my teachers, but all the time he does worship of the Archa, the image in Belur Math. Early morning, even we used to get up at 3:40 a.m. He would be already half his day is done by that time. He would get up at 2 a.m. He picks flowers, offers it. So this thing, he has called. I just remembered. One day I asked him, you're spending so much time offering flowers to the image. You are a great Advaita master. Do you need to do all this now? He gave me a very simple answer, which is so moving. He said, my belief is, I believe if you do even a little bit for the Lord, He will not abandon you. He does not forget. So do a little bit. This is the glory of worshipping the Archa. Go even further. Sri Ramakrishna, I will conclude with this. Sri Ramakrishna says that rising to this level, Nirguna Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, or turning around and seeing Saguna Brahman, but then coming down. He says that when you climb up the staircase in a house, you leave the door behind, leave the first floor behind, go to the roof of the house, you see that the roof is made of cement and bricks and mortar and stone. But when you look back what you left behind when you came up, you see the staircase and the door and the walls, what you left behind, they are all made of the same wood, mortar, bricks and cement and stones and all. When you rise, when neti neti, and you realize Satchidananda, I am existence, consciousness, bliss. But what about the mind? You did neti neti. Shankaracharya says, Mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. But what about the mind, mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta? What about the panchabhuta, this world, sky and earth, oceans and land and all of that? Living beings, human beings and fish and animals and all of that? Stars and planets? What is that? You realize that same Brahman is all of these. The same Brahman. Advaitins have this word, ye to Brahma Prakash hai. In Uttarakhand, the sadhus say, Brahma Prakash, this is Brahman shining forth. What is this? They say, there is answer. Brahman through Maya projected this Akasha, Akashad, Vayu, Vayu, Ragni and so on. Panchabhutas are there. By Panchabhutas, our subtle bodies were made, physical bodies were made, the entire universe has been made. That is one answer, standard answer. But if you ask the real answer, you forget all that. All of these Panchabhutas, planets, stars, people, our bodies, our minds are nothing but the same Brahman appearing as all of these. Not one difference. We again come back to where we started, that all is God. But in the sense, in what sense? All is not, God alone is. Every bit of this, what we are experiencing, is nothing other than Brahman. This is what Sri Ramakrishna called Vijnana. It is not unknown to Advaita. That's why the sadhu could say, Vyavahar mein nirbad banata hai aapko. With eyes closed, maje mein ho. I am in great bliss. With eyes open, aur bhi maje mein ho. In even greater bliss. Then, what happens in the world? The next stage is with this vision of the divinity spread everywhere, this Vijnana vision. Then we have to live life. Swami Vivekananda defined religion as the manifestation of the divinity already within us. Not just this grand philosophy, not just these wonderful ideas and elevating thoughts, but also translated into action. One sadhu in the Himalayas, very, very nice old man, he said, when I was a youngster, he stayed in those mountains throughout his life. I would run around serving the sadhus. Who wants a kambal blanket? Who wants a glass of milk? Who wants some medicine, some seva to be done? I would run around do that. My guru, his guru, he said, my guru scolded me. Kabhi bhajan bhi kar liya kijiye. And said, sometimes do a little bit of spiritual practice also. He's always running around doing this and that. Kabhi bhajan bhi kar liya karo. Do some bhajan sometimes. Then I felt very sad. Oh, I'm not doing bhajan. In grammar class, I read one etymological meaning of bhakti, bhajan, bhaj sevayam. Bhajan means the loving service. Not just love, feeling of love, loving service. Vaishnava Vedantis, they interpret in this way. Bhajan, bhakti means loving service. So the expression of Vijnana, to see that the one divinity in all forms, in all faces, the face of God is shining. In all hands and feet, this God is walking and God is working. Beautiful description of Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivananda in Belur Math. When people would come to make pranams to him, he's president of Belur Math. They're coming to make pranams. He would first make pranams to them. They would feel very uncomfortable. Why is Maharaj doing pranams to us? Somebody asked him. He said, what can I do? When I see them, I can't see the human form. I see the form of their Ishta. Then I bow down to that form disappears and the human form comes in front. Then only I can speak to them. Now, it's not a mystical experience. No. This is a mistake that we are making. What they are seeing is the truth. That's what gives them the great power. What we are seeing is that sadhu said, Bevkufi matra, stupidity. You live in stupidity, Mahatma Ji. So, this is the great vision of the divinity in all beings, at all times, with eyes open, with eyes closed, in the midst of action, in deep meditation. And we live with this vision, our life becomes an expression of this vision. Swami Ashokanji says, where is God? It's a foolish question. Where is God not there? God in present in 1,000 different ways. God revealing himself, herself, itself in 1,000 different ways. This world is Brahma Prakasha, is the radiance of divinity. Look around you. The beings present, we relate to them as human beings, but in depth, they are nothing but that same one Brahman, shining forth in all these ways. Proof, you say a very poetic thing, Swamiji, but we are in so much trouble, but you look for clues. One sadhu said, what is the clue? Can you give me some proof that I am Brahman right now? His answer was interesting. He said, Aap ho na, you exist, isn't it? In spite of everything. Life after lifetime you have traveled. Bodies after bodies have died. Aapko koi maar saka hai? Has anyone been able to destroy you? No. Let the worst of troubles come. You see, life is full of miseries. Let the worst of miseries come. Let death come. You will not die. What does that mean? That you are, there's something immortal about you. I am experiencing so much suffering. You're experiencing. Suffering, pleasure, worldly life, spiritual life, God realization. It shows Chit Swarupa. This constant movement. Swami Vivekananda gives a very Advaitic definition of bhakti. In Bhakti Yoga, he says, look at the world around you. You want to see what bhakti is? Look at the world around you. People struggling. Somebody is mad after money. Somebody is mad after power of sense pleasures. The people are struggling continuously. Human beings, animals, all are this continuous movement for fulfillment, overcoming suffering, attaining some kind of peace and joy. This huge cosmic movement towards the divine, this is the expression of bhakti. This cosmic bhakti, everywhere going on. We are full of it. And you cannot stop until you reach the divine. This is where God lies, this is where we are, this is our real nature. This is the real deeper meaning of Tattvamasi. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Guru Maharaj, Ma Sharada Devi, to Swami Vivekananda, to bless us, to shower their blessings upon all of us, all who are present here. May we have realized this grand vision in this very life itself. When I'm saying in this very life, I remember just recently I was reading Mahapurush Maharaj, Swami Shivanandaji, somebody said, please bless me that I may have God realization in this life. He said, give up such calculations of this life or that life. It is stopping you from complete surrender. So complete surrender, just surrender to the Divine Mother. She will take care of you. She has been taking care of you till now, and she will take care of you. I pray to the Lord, may the Lord bless us with this divine realization. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much.
Now it's my time to bring down your minds to the worldly plane. But I am sure you will carry the message given by revered Maharaj. It's time to convey gratitude. Dhanyata bhav. All of us, I am sure, we feel we are very much satisfied. Really speaking, no words to convey. It's sheer joy, joy, and joy. Heartfelt thanks to Swamiji. Revered Swamiji gave 5 days to Bangalore, 2 days to travel, 3 days for lectures, 8 programs all put together. Here also, you see, Bangaloreans wanted to take maximum benefit from revered Maharaj. Though it was tightly packed, Maharaj really, he managed so well, it's amazing. We are really indebted to Maharaj. His talks were just like as we read in Srimad Bhagavata, when Sri Krishna play flute, gopis, gopikas, they leave their work to hear. Just like that, we were accompanying Maharaj, we could see people just from all walks of life, very many new faces. They just come and attend the talks because they were getting what really they were in search of. They were getting what they really wanted. So that's where the speciality of the Maharaj lies. They wanted, it was just like Krishna playing the flute. Maharaj's words was just like the flute. See, I can call it as Amritavani. Nothing better than this. Because these are all what Maharaj shared, words of Upanishads, wisdom of Upanishads, and philosophers across the globe. For many of us, at least in my case, for first time I am hearing the names. So well read, so well synchronized, and made it palpable for all of us. That was really wonderful. I feel it's my personal opinion, as Sri Krishna says, some special power, Vibhuti, he calls it. That Vibhuti is flowing through Maharaj by the grace of Sri Ramakrishna. It's my personal opinion. At the same time, I feel it's grace of Sri Ramakrishna upon all of us. We got Swami Sarvapriyanandaji Maharaj to hear. So I offer my humble salutations to Sri Ramakrishna at first. Then, on behalf of revered Swami Nityasthananji Maharaj and all monastics from various mutts, devotees, well-wishers, seekers of truth, students of Vedanta, on behalf of all of you, from bottom of my heart, I offer our gratitude to Maharaj for accepting and coming and delivering, sparing his valuable time to form of fruits we would like to offer to you, Maharaj. Please accept. This is a token of respect, love, and gratitude. I took name of Maharaj first, otherwise the next what I am going to speak, Maharaj may get offended. We have to thank revered Swami Nityasthananji Maharaj primarily. Because of him, we got Sarvapriyanandaji Maharaj. Because Sarvapriyanandaji Maharaj loves Maharaj, respects a lot. So I offer my pranams, and on behalf of all of you, I thank Swamiji for arranging such a great feast for all of us, Swamiji. Many thanks to all of you. There are devotees, well-wishers, seekers of truth, students. I was thinking of using the word Bangaloreans, but that's not so. People have come from Delhi, Pune, Indore, Chennai, Singapore, Sri Lanka, just to hear the words of Maharaj. I thank all of you for taking such great effort in coming and listening to the nectar words of Upanishads through Maharaj. I'm sure many of you have undergone a lot of small problems, less accommodation, less communication, because we were anticipating it will be war-tongued, we will not be able to accommodate so much. But whoever attends, we want them to sit comfortably, take the message properly. So there were a lot of inconveniences put up by devotees and seekers of truth, but still we could manage and you have adjusted. I thank all of you for your cooperation and patient listening on behalf of Ramakrishna Mutt, on behalf of Swamiji, I thank all of you once again. And many volunteers for the parking. I saw one of my brother monk. He was standing at the far end of the ashrama for arranging the parking. I felt ashamed because I am supposed to do it, but I left because I couldn't miss. And also I had a small responsibility of doing this vote of thanks. Swamiji's for this talk at the far end, arranging for the parking to comfort the devotees. See, this is what Ramakrishna Mutt is. Not that all are here. What Maharaj explained, that is practiced, that you can see in the ashrama. I thank our Vivekananda Balaka Sangha, Vivekananda Yuvaka Sangha, and many other volunteers, many other, through social media, they have published this information. As in the beginning, our Maharaj told, we have not publicized so much, but it has gone by itself. That's a good sign. And also Maharaj he showed us the importance of Karnataka, how great the Karnataka is. Since we are here only, we forget often. But Maharaj brought it to our notice. Let us all remember that. And with this, I would like to conclude, because you should carry those thoughts. This is just as a formality what we are doing. The main purpose is, as Maharaj told, we should think, you should live and realize God. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna. Just before that, in front of temple, prasada is given, hand prasad. All of you please collect. Please cooperate with our volunteers while taking exit. It may take little more time, but I request all of you to move out slowly, follow the guidance of our volunteers. And also on this occasion, I request all of you, please come to Mutt, spend some time in the temple. Very good literature is available in our bookstall. It's all hard tapasya of senior monks, which Maharaj was quoting. Many of our Swamijis have led the life of 50 years, 60 years of spiritual practices. The wisdom of that is collected in the form of books, which are not available anywhere and everywhere. I request all of you to come to Mutt, spend some time reading, doing japam, meeting our monks. You'll be immensely benefited. So with this, I would like to conclude. I pray to Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sharda Devi, and Swami Vivekananda to bless us all. Jai Ramakrishna. With a Jaikar, we shall conclude. Many new faces are there. So it's our tradition. I say Jai Shri Paramahamsa Ramakrishna Devaki. At the end, you can say Jai. Jai Shri Paramahamsa Ramakrishna Bhagavan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Sharada Devi Ki. Jai Shri Swami Vivekananda Maharaj Ji Ki.